Hey, everybody. Welcome to Anthony Johnson Speaks Love. So relationships, right? Not everyone in a relationship, or shall I say, not everyone that you are in a relationship with is considered love, right? I mean, you have people that you like, you have people that you work with, you have people that you interact with, like your neighbors or the person at the grocery store. So that could be a relationship, but it's not necessarily a loving relationship. And it certainly is not one that is romantic or more intimate. So more intimate relationships can be friendships, co-workers that are not necessarily romantic, but they are intimate in the sense that we are vulnerable, we feel safe, we feel secure in who we are, we're understanding of the person that we're talking to, we're okay with being honest, open, authentic, and vulnerable. So in that case, that is an intimate relationship. Intimacy on the level of really good friends, really good coworkers, other family members, and not so much romantic. So I wanted to draw the line between intimacy on a friendship level and intimacy on a love romantic level, because it's two different things. But just because you have an intimate relationship with someone, it does not mean that it's necessarily a romantic relationship. So in updating the name of the podcast to Love, it is more focused on intimate relationships and love with a romantic partner. But the funny thing is, if you are intimate and you connect with your romantic partner, you can also do the same thing with friends, family, coworkers, or other people in your life. And in fact, I would encourage you to make sure that you do have romantic relationships separated from your other relationships, but you include intimacy in both of those. So that sounds like and looks like talking to someone else outside of your romantic relationship on a more intimate level, being honest, open, and vulnerable with other people in your life besides your romantic partner. One of the things that happens when we don't understand ourselves and we don't understand our partners is we don't communicate well, right? So once we get to the point where we feel safe and we're honest, we're open, we're authentic, and we start to say the things that we really think, we really feel, a lot of times that causes conflict. And the reason for that, at least in my opinion, is because we don't always go into relationships being honest, open, and authentic, right? So you may go on a date, you may go on a few dates, and you're trying to impress the person. You want the person to like you. You want the person to think that you are a good person. You want to continue dating. Perhaps you met someone, you had a few conversations with them. You like the way they look. Maybe you find them attractive. So you go on a date. So the last thing that you're thinking about is saying something or doing something that's going to make you less attractive, that's going to make you less interesting. So we kind of avoid saying the thing that we really want to say or should say or could say. We kind of avoid doing the thing, right? We're trying to maintain this persona of I'm a great person and you like me, right? Because I do this or because I say this. So what happens then? Well, we continue dating. Months go by, maybe years go by, Maybe we even wind up marrying this person. And now they think that we're great. We think that they're great. And then it starts to wear off. The mask slowly starts to fall from the faces. And that's inevitable, right? Because you cannot continue to live the rest of your life not being your authentic, true, honest self. So in those situations, we go through the dating phase, we go through the honeymoon phase, and then we get to the power stage where we're kind of a little bit open to being honest and to dropping the mask and saying what we want to say and saying what we think we need to say. And at this point, it tends to catch our partner off guard because suddenly something's changed. Something's different. We act a little different. We speak a little different. We say some things that they're not used to saying. And then they wonder, so what's going on with that? Now, in some cases, if they're still hiding or pretending or wearing their mask, they may be afraid to say something. They may be afraid to say, hey, what's going on with that? That's something new. You've never done that before. You've never said that before. You've never acted like this before. So you can see how that would cause problems in relationships. So the key is, of course, be honest, open, and authentic from the very beginning. I wouldn't even say the first date. I would say the first conversation. The first time you talk to someone, show them who you are. Let them know who you are. 100%. Now, you're not spilling your whole life history to them at that point. However, you are not saying things and you are not doing things to make yourself look good, make yourself look different. If you're doing something to make yourself look good, make sure that you are prepared to do that thing or those things the rest of your life with regard to this relationship. There are a lot of posts on social media about how you will go out and you will go to the gym and maybe you will work out. Maybe you're a guy and you lift weights. Maybe you don't. Maybe you run, maybe you swim, you play basketball. You do whatever you need to do to stay in shape or to get in shape with the idea that you might meet someone. You want to look good. You want to feel good. You want to appear good. So you go to the gym. You work out. You may take it up to the next level and say, I'm in the market for somebody, so I'm going to wear this thing because maybe someone will find me attractive. Maybe someone will think I'm sexy. We've done that, right? We know what that's about. It could be playing basketball with your shirt off. It could be wearing the really tight bra that only covers half of your stomach. It could be wearing little tiny shorts with what hanging out. You do what you think you want to do in that moment to be attractive. So, are you going to continue to do that once you're in a relationship? And is your partner going to be open and okay with you doing that once you're in a relationship? So if I decide I'm going to go work out and I'm going to be in the gym 5 days a week and I'm going to play basketball with my shirt off and I'm going to look good and feel good and I'm in the market for picking up someone to date, then hey, I'm going to do that. And if you're a female and you decide You're going to wear a little bit of makeup or maybe a lot. Maybe you're going to do your hair. Maybe you're going to wear something that shows your body, your abs, your chest, your breast, your ass, whatever it is. You're out there. You're showing it. You want to get a date. You're showing your sexiness. You're showing your sex appeal. You're showing your masculinity or your muscle or your strength or your capability. And then what happens in a lot of cases? You meet someone, you start dating, you go to the gym a little bit less because now you have someone, and then you really get serious and you start talking about the future. And then suddenly they don't want you to go to the gym anymore because they don't want you to look sexy because someone else might be interested in you. So now the thing that they liked about you that got them, they no longer want you to do. So now it's like, well, if you go to the gym, make sure you cover your abs. Or if you go work out, make sure that you don't have your chest hanging out. Or make sure that you wear a shirt because I don't want so-and-so or these people looking at you and thinking that you're available. As if not wearing a shirt or wearing something that shows more of your cleavage is an indicator that you are available. It's not in a lot of cases, right? Just because you are a guy and you're playing basketball with no shirt doesn't mean that you don't have a partner at home or maybe even in the gym somewhere. And the same goes for the ladies. The problem is we meet people in certain circumstances that put them out there and make them available. And then once we start dating, we want that person to change. So keep both of those things in mind and make a distinction between what is good, what is not good, what is acceptable, and what is not acceptable when you go into a relationship. Once you start getting past the 3-month or the 90-day range, you want to start thinking about how are things going to go in the future? How do I want this relationship to go? But if you have been honest and open and authentic from the beginning, there should not be a lot of issues. Communication will be the key. So if someone is in a relationship and they expect you to now change from the person that you were or the thing that you were doing when you met them, you have to ask them why that is so. What are they thinking? What are they feeling? And what stories are they making up in their head about the situation? If you're going shirtless, people will be turned on by you and they may approach you. And of course, the answer to that or the antidote is, so what? If you're in a committed relationship, you both agree that you're in a committed relationship, then it shouldn't matter what you're wearing. You know that you're in a relationship and you know that you're not looking for anyone new. They know that they're not looking for anyone new. That does not mean that we now start to look a certain way that tells the world, in someone's opinion, that we're not available. It's the same as wearing your wedding ring, right? It's let me announce to the world that I'm married, that I'm taken. However, in the society that we live in, we all know some people don't care about the ring. In fact, some people will be more turned on by the fact that you have a ring on your finger, and they will approach you and they will attempt to talk to you, maybe date you, maybe sleep with you because they feel like they're getting something that is not available or that should not be available to them. There are actually men and women in the world that seek out other men and women in the world that are married or that are taken or that are unavailable. Certainly not saying that that is something that people should do, simply saying that that is the reality of the world that we live in. So if you take that same situation and apply it to how we dress, how we look, how we interact in our world, does clothing really mean anything? Does simply covering our bodies mean that we're not available? I don't think so. So the point that I'm getting at here is think about what you want. Think about what you're asking of your partner and think about if it makes sense in the real world or if it's just something silly that you are coming up with because of your own insecurities. So those are things that you can actually discuss on the first few dates. And then once you get past the first few dates, you can talk about it more in-depthly. You can communicate about it more in-depthly. It's the same with women that are considered very attractive by men who then get married and have children, gain weight, and then are pressured into losing the weight. Men have no clue how hard it is to have a child and to gain weight and then to lose the weight, especially after you may have given up your job, you may be at home full time, you may have not stopped your job, so now you're working and you're taking care of a child or more than one child, and now there's an expectation that you will also remain in shape. So you're doing 25 things at once. You're eating on the fly whenever you get a second or a moment. You're not really considering how healthy is this. And that's not everyone, right? Some people have the mindset long before they even consider having children that they will be in shape and that they will remain in shape or that they will get back in shape. Not everyone has that same mindset and not everyone has that same capability. Remember, we're all human, we are all different, and we all have our own way. So things like this need to be discussed, they need to be communicated about, and we need to have a clear understanding from the very beginning. I know that people will go on a date, and even though it's the first or second date, they will start to get ideas about what the other person thinks or wants in the future. Is that too early to talk about how you're dressing in the gym? How you're dressing when you go to a nightclub? How much weight you think you're going to gain or lose after you have a child, potentially? I mean, I feel like that's throwing things way out into the future. But at the same time, it's being honest, open, and authentic. It's like you're laying everything on the table. And that's not to say, yes, this means we're going to continue this relationship and get married. But I think in a lot of cases, we just wait and wait and wait. And then when we do decide to commit to one another, to potentially get married, we have all of these things that suddenly we need to say, and the person could very well be overwhelmed. So now I get the idea 9 months in, 12 months in, that once we commit and we get married, you're going to want this, or you're going to think this way, or you're going to need this. And all I'm saying is if we start to talk about it a little in the beginning, we get a better idea of what people want. And at the same time, we're explaining and we're being open about what we want. If the relationship does not go any further, that's fine. Don't look at that as a loss. Look at that as living life as your authentic and true self. If the relationship does not continue, it doesn't matter. If you're worried about what the other person knows about you because you're being honest, authentic, and open at the beginning of the relationship, then you probably aren't 100% secure in who you are. You're not 100% happy with who you are, or you don't know for sure who you are. Because if you do, you're going to be okay with all of it. Because that's your way. That's your life. This is who I am. Take me or leave me. This is who I am. Like it or leave it. This is who I am. Love me or hate me. You don't need to go through life pretending, putting on masks, changing personas for each individual person that you meet when you're honest, authentic, and open from the very beginning. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. This is what I need. This is what I don't care for. It could be friends. It could be romantic partners. It could be family members. No matter what it is, who it is, how it is, be authentic, be real. And that will certainly help with all relationships, but specifically more intimate relationships that you consider romantic, with a romantic partner, with a significant other. If you start being honest, open, and authentic from day one, you're setting yourself up for a life that will be pretty much smooth, understanding, connected, and free of a lot of the conflicts that we run into because we're not honest, open, and authentic from day one. So think about that when you are either starting your dating journey, or if you've already started and you're in a relationship. Think about, what did I want before I started dating this person, and what do I want now? And how has that changed, and why has it changed? If you don't have very valid reasons why you're asking a person to change, then there really should not be a reason for you to ask them to change. If you have your own individual insecurities about the relationship, ask yourself what those insecurities are. Why do I want this person to change? Whatever it is you're asking them or considering asking them to change, why do I want this? Why do I need this? What about this change will help me feel safe? What about this change will help me feel more connected, more trusting of my partner? And then, is that valid? Is that real? Is that something that you should consider? Or is it more that you need to just work through your own insecurities, your own trust issues, and allow your partner to just be who they are naturally because you trust them in the relationship? All right? I know that's a lot of information. That's a lot of stuff to think about. But when it comes to long-lasting, well-connected, well-communicated relationships, those are the things that we need to look at and that we need to start doing from day one, so that we build strong relationships from the very beginning. The person is not overwhelmed by a lot of information that they never even thought about at the beginning. And now, 9 months, 12 months more into the relationship, now that they've kind of gotten to know you based on your mask, based on your false self, suddenly you want to change. And depending on the dynamic, maybe you're both in that situation. Now you're asking them to change. So now you have two people that have been dating for months or years, and suddenly they start to become different people. All of that could have been avoided if you were just honest, open, and authentic from day one. If you have questions or you need more information, hop over to the website and contact me. Send me your questions. I will be more than happy to answer them for you on my next episode. Until then, I hope you enjoy the show. Have a great day.